Let's talk about a farming giant, Australia. Beyond kangaroos and the Sydney Opera House, imagine vast farms stretching to the horizon. Australia is a global agricultural powerhouse, exporting food worldwide. From steaks to wool and wine, chances are you've enjoyed something from an Aussie farm. Over half the country's land is dedicated to agriculture, more than half a continent. This isn't luck, it's grit, innovation, and relentless hard work. Australian farmers have mastered producing high-quality goods on a massive scale. They constantly push boundaries, finding new ways to grow more with less. How did a land known for desserts become a farming superstar? That's the story we'll dig into. We'll explore the world's biggest farms, high-tech machines, and the resilient people behind it all. Welcome to the heart of Australian agriculture, where big ideas meet a big country. Here's a wild fact. Farming covers over 1 billion acres in Australia, stretching across the continent in every direction. These farms are so vast, they seem to go on forever, blending into the horizon and dwarfing anything in their path. Yet, despite all this land, only about 2% of the population works in agriculture. That's just a tiny fraction of Australians, but they're responsible for feeding millions and managing enormous properties. That tiny workforce manages some of the world's largest farms, where a single property can be bigger than some entire countries. The biggest single property, over 2.3 million hectares. Imagine a farm larger than Israel or even some European nations, run by fewer than 10 people. It's almost unbelievable. How do they do it? The answer lies in technology and smart management. These farmers are pioneers, constantly adapting to new tools and methods. Machines, computers, and efficient systems let a handful of people do the work of hundreds. GPS-guided tractors, drones, and automated harvesters are all part of daily life here. This is the Australian way. Do more, with less, on a massive scale. It's about working smarter, not just harder, and embracing innovation at every turn. Huge farms with few workers are the norm, not the exception. Out here, isolation is a way of life and self-reliance is essential. The average Aussie farm dwarfs those in Europe or Asia, letting animals roam and crops spread wide. There's space for herds to wander and for crops to thrive under the big sky. It's a direct response to the vast, challenging environment. The land is tough, the climate unpredictable, and distances are huge. These farmers are managers, mechanics, and tech experts all in one. They fix their own machines, analyze data, and make critical decisions every day. They oversee vast landscapes with impressive efficiency, keeping everything running smoothly despite the odds. It's a paradox, massive farms, tiny workforce, but it's the secret to their success. The scale is staggering, but so is the ingenuity. Australian farmers are masters of their domain, proving that with determination and creativity, you can conquer even the harshest land. That's the marvel of the Outback Farm, a place where resilience, innovation, and sheer scale come together in a uniquely Australian story. Farming in Australia isn't easy. In fact, it's a daily test of endurance, patience, and ingenuity. This vast continent is one of the toughest places on Earth to grow food, where the land itself seems to fight back. About 70% of the country is arid or semi-arid. Think desert, not garden. The sun beats down relentlessly, and the horizon stretches out in endless shades of brown and red. Farmers battle not just the relentless heat and scarce rain, but also unpredictable weather. Droughts, floods, and wildfires are all part of life here. Every season brings new challenges just to keep crops and animals alive. The soil, it's old, weathered, and low in nutrients, far from ideal for farming. Generations of wind and rain have stripped it of much of its natural goodness. That's why farmers must carefully manage and enrich the soil, using special techniques like crop rotation, composting, and adding minerals to coax out productivity from the land. But the biggest challenge is water. Without it, nothing grows, and in much of Australia, water is always in short supply. Most rain falls near the coasts, far from the vast inland farms where it's needed most. The interior remains dry for months, sometimes years. Inland, rainfall is minimal, so every drop counts. Farmers collect and store rainwater, making sure not a single drop is wasted. To survive, they build dams, tap underground water, and use advanced irrigation systems, sometimes inventing new technology just to get by. Water is more precious than gold here. Every farmer knows that their future depends on how well they can manage this scarce resource. Despite dry land, poor soil, and little water, Aussie farmers don't give up. Their determination is legendary. They innovate, developing unique solutions to overcome nature's obstacles. From drought-resistant crops to solar-powered pumps, they're always adapting. Their success isn't in spite of the harsh environment, but because of it. The land pushes them to be better, to think differently, and to never stop trying. The challenges have made them some of the world's most resilient and inventive farmers. They share knowledge, support each other, and work together to thrive. It's a story of grit, creativity, and turning adversity into advantage. Every day they find new ways to make the impossible possible. That's the real secret behind Australia's farming boom. Tough land, tougher farmers, always ready to meet the next challenge head-on. Faced with tough conditions and unpredictable weather, Australian farmers adopted a bold philosophy: go big or go home. In a land where droughts are common and the soil can be unforgiving, survival means thinking on a grand scale and taking calculated risks. If each acre yields little, you need thousands of acres to make a living. That's why Australian farms are some of the largest in the world, stretching as far as the eye can see. Instead of squeezing small plots for every last drop, they spread out farming on a massive scale, covering huge distances to make every bit of land count. This approach lets them use giant, efficient machinery, massive harvesters, powerful tractors, and advanced equipment to maximize output and reduce labor. Livestock graze over vast areas, wandering across open rangelands. Meanwhile, crops stretch to the horizon, painting the landscape with green and gold. Interestingly, while livestock use over 95% of farmland, crops grown on less than 5% generate more than half the revenue. It's a surprising fact that highlights the value of even small patches of fertile land. The strategy is clear: use dry land for large-scale grazing and focus high-tech resources like irrigation and precision farming on the best land for valuable crops. It's a smart mix of size and technology, blending tradition with innovation to get the most from every hectare. By playing to their strengths and adapting to the land, Aussie farmers turn a difficult environment into a productive powerhouse, proving resilience and ingenuity go hand in hand. They've mastered the art of working with what they have, using every tool and technique available to thrive where others might struggle. That's the Aussie way: big, bold, and clever, always pushing the limits to succeed against the odds. Australia is a global beef powerhouse, second only to Brazil in exports. With nearly as many cattle as people, these animals roam enormous stations, some over 1 million hectares. Most cattle live semi-free range, grazing naturally on open pastures. This natural lifestyle makes Aussie beef famous for quality and fetches premium prices worldwide. Special heat-tolerant breeds like Brahman thrive in the harsh outback. Managing tens of thousands of cattle as high-tech satellites monitor pastures, and helicopters herd cattle in hours, not weeks. This blend of natural grazing and modern tech makes the industry efficient and profitable. Over 1 million tons of beef are exported each year, earning billions. It's a massive business built on letting cattle live naturally and using smart tools to manage them. That's how Australia became king of cattle country. Australia is the world's top producer of fine wool, thanks to the legendary Merino sheep. Up to 80% of the world's luxury wool comes from Aussie farms. Merino sheep thrive in the cooler southeast and southwest, growing soft, valuable fleece. Shearing is a skilled, fast-paced job. One shearer can handle over 200 sheep a day. Each sheep yields up to 5 kilograms of premium wool. This wool is prized by top fashion houses in Italy and Japan. Merino wool is soft, warm, lightweight, and biodegradable, making it a sustainable choice. The industry connects rugged outback farmers to high-fashion runways worldwide. Through quality and efficiency, Australia dominates the global wool market. It's another example of turning natural resources into a billion-dollar industry. Wheat is a cornerstone of Australian agriculture, grown across the vast grain belt. This region gets little rain, but Aussie scientists developed wheat varieties with deep roots to survive the dry. The hot climate naturally dries wheat in the field, saving farmers money and energy. Fleets of massive GPS-guided harvesters work around the clock, maximizing efficiency. Onboard sensors measure grain quality in real time, sorting it instantly. By harvest's end, farmers know exactly what they've got and what it's worth, and this high-tech, large-scale approach keeps Australia competitive globally. Turning heat and dryness into an advantage, they produce top-quality wheat for export. It's farming for the 21st century: smart, efficient, and resilient. That's the story of Australia's wheat belt. Cotton and wine grapes are famously thirsty crops, but Australia makes them work in dry conditions. Cotton harvesting is fully mechanized. Giant machines pick, press, and wrap cotton in hours. Speed is crucial to maintain quality, and the result is durable, absorbent fiber, loved by luxury brands. Australia exports hundreds of thousands of tons of cotton, earning billions. The wine industry is equally impressive. Over 1 billion liters shipped yearly. Vineyards focus on heat-tolerant grapes like Shiraz, and harvest at night to preserve flavor. High-tech harvesters do the work of dozens, ensuring quality and efficiency. Australia's wines hit the sweet spot. Great taste, great value, and global popularity. Modern methods let them thrive where others might fail. It's all about clever tricks and relentless innovation. Almonds are Australia's rising star, over 100,000 tons produced annually. Harvesting is a masterclass in mechanization: tree shakers, sun-drying, sweepers, and vacuum harvesters. The real edge? Timing. Australia's harvest comes when California's supply is running low, delivering fresh almonds to global markets. This counter-season advantage boosts their competitiveness. From beef to wool, wheat to wine, and almonds, Australia turns adversity into opportunity. Harsh deserts, poor soil, and scarce water didn't stop them. They innovated and scaled up. It's not about perfect conditions, but making the best of what you have. Aussie farmers have transformed tough land into billions in exports. They feed the world and prove that grit and ingenuity can conquer any challenge. That's the Aussie advantage.